him, and standing with the door half open she repeated this stanza. Ill luck is his that ever craves, to find his wishes rejected. As you, O king, do fondly attract with love still unreturned. But because he was madly in love with her, however much he was abused and insulted by her, he showed no resentment but repeated this stanza. Whosoever shall gain what he holds dear, may loved or unloved be. Success alone is what we praise, to lose is misery. While he was still speaking, without at all relenting, she spoke in a firm voice, as if minded to drive him away, and repeated this stanza. As well to dig through bed of rock with brittle wood as spade, or catch the wind within a net, as attract unwilling maid. On hearing this the king repeated 3 stanzas. Hard-hearted as a stone are you, so soft to outward view. No word of welcome though I've come from far your love to sue. When you do frown regarding me, proud lady, with sullen look, then I in royal matters halls am nothing but a cook. But if, O queen, in pity you should oblige to smile on me, no longer cook, once more am I lord of Kusa-jataka. On hearing his words she thought, he is very pertinacious in all that he says. I must devise some lie to drive him hence, and she spoke this stanza. If fortune-tellers spoke true words, it was this in truth they said. May you in pieces 7 be hewn, before you King Kusa wed. On hearing this the king contradicting her said, Lady, I too consulted fortune-tellers in my own kingdom and they predicted that there was no other husband for you except the lion-voiced Lord King Kusa, and through omens provided by my own knowledge I say the same, and he repeated another stanza. If I and other prophets here have uttered a true word, save me King Kusa, you shall hail none other as your lord. On hearing his words she said, one cannot shame him. What is it to me whether he runs away or not? And shutting the door she refused to show herself. And he took up his load and went down. From that day he could not set eyes on her and he got heartily sick of his cook's work. After breakfast he cut firewood, washed dishes and fetched water on his carrying pole, and then lying down he rested on a heap of grain. Rising early he cooked rice porridge and the like, then took and served the food and suffered all this mortification by reason of his passionate love for pabhavati. One day he saw the humpback passing by the kitchen door and hailed her. For fear of pabhavati she did not venture to come near him, but passed on pretending to be in a great hurry. So he hastily ran up to her crying, Crook-back. She turned and stopped, saying, Who is here? I cannot listen to what you have to say. Then he said, Both you and your mistress are very obstinate. Though living near you ever so long, we cannot so much as get a report of her health. She said, Will you give me a present? He replied, Supposing I do so, will you be able to soften pabhavati and bring me into her presence? On her agreeing to do so, he said, If you can do this, I will put right your humpback, and give you an ornament for your neck. And tempting her, he spoke 5 stanzas. Necklace of gold I'll give to you. On coming to Kusa-jataka, if slender-limbed pabhavati should only oblige to look on me. Necklace of gold I'll give to you. On coming to Kusa-jataka, if slender-limbed pabhavati should only oblige to speak to me. Necklace of gold I'll give to you. On coming to Kusa-jataka, if slender-limbed pabhavati should only oblige to smile on me. Necklace of gold I'll give to you. On coming to Kusa-jataka, if slender-limbed pabhavati should laugh with joy at sight of me. Necklace of gold I'll give to you. On coming to Kusa-jataka, if slender-limbed pabhavati should lay a loving hand on me. On hearing his words she said, Go away, my lord. In a very few days I will put her in your power. You shall see how energetic I can be." So saying, she decided on her course of action. And going to Pabhavati, she made as if she would clean her room, and not leaving a bit of dirt big enough to hit one with, and removing even her shoes, she swept out the whole chamber. Then she arranged a high seat for herself in the doorway and, spreading a bedsheet on a low stool for Pabhavati, she said, "Come, my dear, and I will search in your head for lice," and making her sit there and place her head upon her lap, after scratching her a little and saying, "Ho! What a lot of lice we have here," she took some from her own head and put them on the head of the princess, and speaking in terms of endearment of the great being, she sang his praises in this stanza. This royal lady no pleasure feels Kusa once more to see. Though, wanting nothing, he serves as cook for simple hired person's fee. Pabhavati was enraged with the humpback. So the old woman took her by the neck and pushed her inside the room, and being herself outside, she closed the door and stood clinging to the cord which pulled the door to. Pabhavati, being unable to get at her, stood by the door, abusing her, and spoke another stanza. This humpbacked slave, without a doubt, for speaking such a word, deserves to have her tongue cut out with keenest sharpened sword. So the humpback stood holding on to the rope that hung down and said, "You worthless, ill-behaved creature, what good will your fair looks do anyone? Can we live by feeding on your beauty?" And so saying, she proclaimed the virtues of the bodhisattva, shouting them aloud with the harsh voice of a humpback, in 13 stanzas. Esteem him not, Pabhavati, by outward form or height. Great glory his, so do whatever is pleasing in his sight. Esteem him not, Pabhavati, by outward form or height. Great wealth is his, so do whatever is pleasing in his sight. Esteem him not, Pabhavati, by outward form or height. Great power is his, so do whatever is pleasing in his sight. Esteem him not, Pabhavati, by outward form or height. Wide rule is his, so do whatever is pleasing in his sight. Esteem him not, Pabhavati, by outward form or height. Great king is he, so do whatever is pleasing in his sight. Esteem him not, Pabhavati, by outward form or height. Lion-voiced is he, so do whatever is pleasing in his sight. Esteem him not, Pabhavati, by outward form or height. Clear-voiced is he, so do whatever is pleasing in his sight. Esteem him not, Pabhavati, by outward form or height. Deep-voiced is he, so do whatever is pleasing in his sight. Esteem him not, Pabhavati, by outward form or height. Sweet-voiced is he, so do whatever is pleasing in his sight. Esteem him not, Pabhavati, by outward form or height. Honey-voiced is he, so do whatever is pleasing in his sight. Esteem him not, Pabhavati, by outward form or height. 100 arts are his, so do what's pleasing in his sight. Esteem him not, Pabhavati, by outward form or height. A warrior king is he, so do what's pleasing in his sight. Esteem him not, Pabhavati, by outward form or height. King Kusa it is, so do whatever is pleasing in his sight. Hearing what she said, Pabhavati threatened the humpback, saying, "Crook-back, you roar too loud. If I catch hold of you, I will let you know you have a mistress." She replied, "In my consideration for you, I did not let your father know of King Kusa's arrival. Well, today I will tell the king," and speaking in a loud voice she cowed her. And fearing anyone should hear this, Pabhavati pacified the hunchback. And the bodhisattva, not being able to get a sight of her, after 7 months being sick of his hard bed and sorry food, thought, "What need have I of her? After living here 7 months I cannot so much as get a sight of her." She is very harsh and cruel. I will go and see my father and mother." At this moment Saka, considering the matter, found out how discontented Kusa was, and he thought, after 7 months he is unable even to see Pabhavati. "I will find some way of letting him see her." So he sent messengers to 7 kings as if they came from King Madda, to say, "Pabhavati has thrown over King Kusa and has returned home. You are to come and take her to wife." And he sent the same message to each of the 7 separately. They all arrived in the city with a great following, not knowing one another's reasons for coming. They asked one the other, "Why have you come here?" And on discovering how matters stood, they were angry and said, "Will he give his daughter in marriage to 7 of us? See how ill he behaves. He mocks us, saying, 'Take her to wife.' Let him either give Pabhavati in marriage to all 7 or let him fight us." And they sent a message to him to this effect and armed the city. On hearing the message, King Madda was alarmed and took advice with his ministers, saying, "What are we to do?" Then his ministers made answer, "Sire, these 7 kings have come for Pabhavati. If you refuse to give her, they will break down the wall and enter the city, and after destroying us they will seize your kingdom. While the wall still stands unbroken, let us send Pabhavati to them." And they repeated this stanza. Like to proud elephants they stand in coats of armor dressed. Before yet they trample down our walls, send off in haste the maid. The king on hearing this said, "If I should send Pabhavati to any one of them, the rest will join battle with me. It is out of the question to give her to any one of them. After throwing off the chief king in all India, let her receive the reward due to her return home. I will kill her and cutting her body into 7 pieces send one to each of the 7 kings," and so saying he repeated another stanza. "In pieces 7 Pabhavati to be hacked, it is my will. 1 piece for each of these 7 kings, who came her sire to kill." This saying of his was noised abroad throughout the palace. Her attendants came and told Pabhavati, "The king, they say, will cut you in 7 pieces and send them to the 7 kings." She was terrified to death, and rising from her seat she went, accompanied by her sisters, to her mother's state chamber. The master, to make the matter clear, said, "Attractive though dark of color up rose the queen and moved before her group of maidservants, clad in silk attire and weeping much. She came into her mother's presence and saluting her broke into these cryings. This face with powder beautified, here mirrored in a glass. To ivory handle nicely fixed, so charming now alas. With innocence and purity in every line expressed. Rejected by warrior princes in some lone forest soon will rest. These locks of hair so black of color, bound up in stately coil. Soft to the touch and fragrant with the finest sandal oil. In charnel ground though covered up the vultures soon will find. And with their talons rip and tear and scatter to the wind. These arms whose fingertips are dyed, like copper, crimson red. In richest sandal oil often bathed and with soft down overspread. Cut off and by proud kings in some lone forest thrown aside. A wolf will seize and carry off wherever he's glad to hide. My teats are like the dates that on the palms with ripeness swell. Fragrant with scent of sandalwood that men of Kasi fell. Hanging on that a jackal soon at them, I think, will tug. Just as a little baby boy his mother's breast may hug. These hips of mine, well knit and broad, thrown in an ample mold. Encircled with a waist belt of bright color, made of purest gold. Cut off and by proud kings in some lone forest thrown aside. A wolf will seize and carry off wherever he's glad to hide. Dogs, wolves, jackals and whatsoever are known as beasts of prey. If once they eat pabhavati, can suffer no decay. Should warrior kings that come from far to kill your daughter's body, begging my bones, burn 'em with fire in some concealed way. Then make a garden near and plant a kanakara tree. And when at winter's close it blooms, mother, recalling me, point to the flower and say, just such was dear Pabhavati. Thus did she, alarmed with fear of death, idly mourn before her mother. And the Madder king issued an order that the executioner should come with his axe and block. His coming was noised abroad throughout the palace. The queen mother, on hearing of his arrival, arose from her throne and overwhelmed with sorrow came into the presence of the king. The master, to make the matter clear, said, seeing the sword and block set out within the fatal ring, all goddess like the royal lady rose up and looked for the king. Then the queen spoke this stanza. With this sword will the Madder king his graceful daughter kill, and piecemeal send her mangled limbs to rival chiefs a prey. The king tried to pacify her and said, Lady, what is this you say? Your daughter rejected the chief king of all India on the plea of his ugliness, and, accepting death as her fate, returned home before the prints of her feet were well wiped out on the road by which she had gone there. Now therefore let her reap the consequences of the jealousy excited by her beauty. The queen, after hearing what he had to say, went to her daughter and mourning spoke thus. You did not listen to my voice, when advising your good. Today you sinkest to Yama's realm, your body stained with blood. Such fate did every man incur, or even a worse end. Who deaf to good advice neglects the warnings of a friend. If you today a gallant prince for your good lord should wed, adorned with zone of gold and gems, in land of Kusa bred, you would not, served with lots of friends, to Yama's realms have gone. When drums are beat and elephants' loud trumpetings reverberate, in royal halls, where in this world can greater bliss be found?